Hey everybody, I'm Gary Jackson from Qlik. We'll be starting this broadcast in about 5 minutes. So if you're watching, just hold on for a second. We'll be starting right away. Hey, this is Gary. How are you guys doing? Can you hear me? Hey, what's up, you guys? It's cool. It's cool. It's better this time seeing you guys. Okay, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting up in about 2 minutes. We'll get started in about 2 minutes, and then I'll kind of go through my exercise, and then we'll take some questions. Is that okay? Okay, great. And by the way, you guys can see me through the Google Hangout, or are you just doing the WebEx? Are you only using the WebEx?
Honestly, I've been tried Hangout yet, so if you don't mind, plugging the webcam on WebEx, that would be cool too.
Well, I'm having to record it for YouTube, so I have to use the Google Hangout. So let me share something with you guys, and that way you guys can follow along. Give me a second. Actually, give me a second. I will put it on a website so you guys can follow along as I go. So here we go. See if this works for you. Hold on. See if that works. Can you go to that? I just put something in the chat window to everybody. See if that works for you. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to also update the website, the prototype website, so people can follow on there, and then we'll get started.
The video on YouTube is not available yet.
It's not available yet? Let me see. Give me a second. Prototype. Okay. Close out of this. Go to this. Click into. Okay, give me 1 second and we'll get started with this thing. Okay. Okay, for you guys, try this one then. See if this works. So this is, oops. And when you click on this one, try to check on, select the second feature. I'm going to try it now so I can see what you guys see. Okay, great. Do you see it now? So I'm gonna mute you guys, and we'll go ahead and get this thing started. Okay. So, gotcha. So, Wings. Okay, he's muted. Okay. All right. So give me a thumbs up, Cyril, if you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up in your webcam. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so let me make sure I'm recording everything. I will stop looking at you guys. Start sharing my screen. And leave that there. And what I'm going to do for this is make sure this is up and working. Google Hangout. Okay, great. Now what I'm going to do is I'll do a share screen. I'm going to go away for a second. We're going to have a million screens show up. Okay, there we go. Okay, everybody. Hey, thanks. This sucks for you guys because I think it's about 8:30 at night. It's even worse for me. I am in Tokyo, Japan. It is 9:30 at night. I should be having sake and sushi, but instead, I'm going to show you the beautiful joys of bringing predictive analytics or running statistical models with Qlik Sense and ClickView. Now, for all of those people that are just watching this for the first time, or you're watching it live, as I was saying, there is this website, the prototype website that I brought about yesterday. You can click on this How to Build Qlik Sense and R Integration tab. This will come up right away, so you can you can kind of follow along at home. Now, a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. We're going to be talking about R. A lot of people have R. A lot of people have never used R. Some people have used it quite a lot. Some people use Shiny, which we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. What I want to make sure is very, very clear. You cannot run R models within the in-memory database of ClickView or Qlik Sense. ClickView and Qlik Sense uses data. So what that means is you can use R to run statistical models and create data sources. But you can, and that data source can then be fed into ClickView or Qlik Sense, but you statistically cannot run the model inside in memory for a ClickView or Qlik Sense. However, there is one, let me close this. There is a tool, and let me just show it real quick. It is called Alteryx. And I'm going to be sharing with everyone after this Dropbox location that has this application in there. It does contain what they call analytical apps. Alteryx is a company that creates kind of a GUI front end to all statistical packages, whether it's R or SAS or SPSS. If you're a big SAS user, it's very equivalent to SAS Enterprise Miner. If you're not a big SAS user, just forget what I just said. So it's not important to hear what I just said. But you'll notice that when I bring up Alteryx Designer, Alteryx is also widely known to be a complement to Tableau. Now, it's funny, what Alteryx does with us is very different than what Alteryx does with Tableau. From Alteryx and Tableau, if you've ever used that product before, it does what they call blending. Blending is when you want to bring multiple data sources together within Tableau, because Tableau needs a data model or one, it needs to be able to connect it to one data source that it can actually be able to visualize or create a report from. And what Alteryx allows you to do is being able to join tables together in a kind of a metadata view, if you will, and bring that data together. And that's why they kind of complement each other. That term is called blending. Now with Qlik, whether Qlik Sense or ClickView, we don't need to be blended. There is no need for data blending. We can connect directly to multiple data sources, 30, 40, 50 data sources, without having to use an extra tool to be able to do that. However, what Alteryx can do is offer this thing that we have, and let me open samples, which we call analytical apps. What this basically means is it actually, if you have R installed on your desktop, and we'll go a little bit into how to install R, Alteryx will find your root location for R, and it already has models that it's already pre-built around file, mortgage calculator, tree, there's a couple of them. I'm sorry, scatter plot, decision trees, forest models. It will go out to R, run these models for you. So for example, if I bring in this one, it actually brings in a GUI representation of this forest model. And basically you're able to pick and choose, what tool I want to be able to use this and be able to work with it. And it even talks about the model that it actually uses to run this model. And it actually will create output and then import it automatically into ClickView or Qlik Sense. And actually in some of these, it even comes up with some pre-built analytical apps. You can see mortgage calculator. There was one that conversion map. There was another one for a that I was using quite a lot, with something about a market basket analysis sample. Yeah, here's a market basket analysis sample. So basically, there's a decision tree. Personally, I'm a coder. So when I look at this kind of kills me a little bit because I like to write code. And that's what we're going to focus on today. We're not going to focus on this GUI front end, which is nice for a newbie or a new beginner. Alteryx is a great tool to be able to bring R together and create some predictive, models. And basically, you can deploy those models very, very quickly. You can export the package and be able to create an analytical model. We're not going to do this. I just wanted to bring it up. We're actually going to get nerdy. We're going to code. And so what that means is that with Alteryx helps Qlik to be able to create R models, go ahead, shoves the data back into ClickView or Qlik Sense, and then actually creates a visualization template to kind of visualize that analytical outcome. There's one more thing that we have. We have there's a document that we have that I'll be sharing with everyone on how to run ClickView with R. And basically, ClickView is different than Qlik Sense, and that ClickView is pre-compiled. Let me just close this out. Is a pre-compiled analytical application. With Qlik Sense, you can kind of break it open. It's kind of HTML5. You can web generate, that kind of thing. ClickView is a little different. It's kind of in its own little shell. It has all these tabs and components that you can bring out. And it's more of a scripting language. It has, we call it Qlik script, where you can basically write code up, change things up. And we actually have an example of being able to use ClickView and R models. Now, the R models are not directly, like I said, run within the in-memory database of Qlik, or does ClickView or Qlik Sense cannot shoot the R models or the scripts into a Hadoop or whatever source it's connecting to. But it can use VB script to run some things and go out and run. So I'm going to share this example. I'm not going to do it today, but this example shows you how to write some basic scripting to connect to R, be able to run some models, and be able to populate, a ClickView app if you want to be able to do that. So again, just over and over, I'm repeating in multiple different ways. Alteryx is a third-party tool. ClickView has some VB scripting or Qlik script that you can run to run R models and bring the output to you. and be able to visualize that in its own way. But today what we're going to do is, what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to run script. So we're actually going to get into the throes of this, code a little bit, add a package or two, and then basically create an output data set that is run through R and then brought into Qlik Sense and then create an app from it. Now, there's I know that Cyril, who's on the call as well, has done a lot of Shiny applications. And of course, Shiny is one thing that I wanted to bring up about Shiny is I wanted to show this one visualization. Whoops, sorry. With Shiny, it basically cannot run in a Windows environment. It's basically unless you have a kind of an emulator or something like that. It's going to take Shiny, Jesus. But that sounds very scary. Me writing that in my email. Well, Jesus is one of our R&D guys and partner enablement guys. And one of the things that he was drawing was with how a Shiny application would work within ClickView or Qlik Sense. And then basically, we have an architecture diagram where basically you would have to create there's a little bit of more complication than just running R and a Shiny app with Qlik. So I'm not going to be talking about Shiny today, but I'm also looking to create an exercise to use Shiny. Now, the other thing that I found out is the next version of Qlik Sense, which comes out the end of April, it actually is debuted on the 29th of April, which is a Wednesday. We're going to have basically a connector that goes directly to Shiny. So that's something to watch out for. In our 2.0 version of Qlik Sense, there is a Shiny integration or integrator that we can actually use to be able to bring in Shiny apps. With 1.1, the Qlik Sense that I'm running right now, we cannot do that. So just want to let you know that. So I'm only going to be running R code for this specific demo. With that being said, I wanted to kind of share with you some of the things I'm going to be doing today. I also wanted to save some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing before I cancel out of this so I don't cause any problems. So let me do this. I'm just going to get out of R. Say yes. Okay. And then we'll get out of this. So what I wanted to be able to do, let me get out of Alteryx. Do you want to save the changes? Yeah, we can do that. Yep. And then get out of that. Say no, never mind. Okay, so before I kind of get started with this, I wanted to see, is there any, like, before I get into R, I wanted to find out from the people that are listening in or watching this, is there any questions or things you wanted me specifically to go into? Are there any R models you guys are looking to use, or those kind of things? So I've got a chat window here. Feel free to just type in any questions or raise your hand to ask anything so I can kind of go into it. Because some of the things I'm going to be using today is I'm basically going to be doing a little bit of ETL with R, some basic average, max, min, some very basic statistics, create an output data set. Then I'm also going to be leaning towards showing you how to use R and another tool to be able to convert SAS data sets into R so you can run those and then input those into Qlik Sense and ClickView. And then leave it to your imagination. Let you be able to find some, the models that you want to do and be able to output some of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute you guys and just, feel free to ask any questions you guys have around, R before we get into it. Is there any questions you guys wanted to, or steer me in the direction before we get into this? Like Cyril or Wings? No? You don't hear me? I can hear you guys. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to take it, you guys. So I was just going to ask you guys, can you guys hear me? So I was just asking a question is, Can you, is there any other, okay, great. Is there any questions or any models? What are you trying to use R for to bring into Qlik Sense or ClickView? Can you, Sarah, you can talk, you don't have to chat. Is there anything you want me to kind of lean towards or go in a certain direction before I get into it?
No, specifically, maybe they want us to know something specific about Chinese.
Yeah, so did you hear what I was talking about Shiny, or was I completely quiet during that time?
Sorry? Yeah, I heard what you said. Yeah, it's great. Actually, your new version is going to be able to display Shiny apps. It's great. It's great news.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that you can force it now if you wanted to, but the problem is that with Shiny, you're basically trying to visualize the output of R in an application that you can run, where Qlik Sense is already that application. So basically, Shiny apps and Qlik Sense apps are basically doing the same thing with just a little bit more. The difference is this: the output of an R model into Shiny, it's basically showing one or two different outcomes. What you can do is, if you run, what I used to do when we used to create some applications, we used to run an R model and basically try to bring in as many inputs as possible, create as many output tables or analytical base tables as possible, just load them into Qlik and let Qlik look for the associations to view things. So that's something to think about. Instead of using a Shiny app, look at the data that you're inputting into Shiny, using Shiny for, then bring it into Qlik Sense. Just drag it into Qlik Sense and see if you can find some association with that. What is your take on that?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. What to do.
Right. Okay. So let's do a couple of things. So what I wanted to do is so first of all, if you've already got R installed, I'm not going to show people how to do that. That's the basic stuff. But I do have a directory I'm going to be passing everyone at the end of this. There's a predictive directory here that I'm going to have. I have some Shiny applications, some Shiny pieces. I have some R pieces. Basically, has a foreign.pdf, which talks about the model, some documentation, and it actually even has the 64-bit version of R that I'm using, both the old and the new in the packages. But for those people who are just watching that maybe that aren't never used R before, what I wanted to show you is, if you do an R search, you do a search on this. Let me bring this down. Give me 1 second. What you'll find here is that you can just go to rproject.org. And then basically what you'll find is you can actually download the latest version. There's this download, you want to download the Windows version, which I have. And the version that I'm actually running for this is 3.13. Not a big deal. So I'm running 3.13. The great thing about what R does is you got a bunch of university professors that are all the time creating statistical packages that you can download and load into this. So for example, a lot of these packages, you kind of have to know your stuff about it. But I wanted to kind of share with you some of the package. There's a link here, and I'll pass this on in my email to everyone at the end of it. Here's several packages that you can bring in that do different kinds of statistical work. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do too is, the one that I really wanted to talk about today is foreign. Foreign is a package that you can bring into R. And basically what this allows you to do is to be able to read and write, be able to read SAS data sets, SPSS, be able to not just do R, but be able to use any statistical package and bring information into R, and then be able to push it out to Sense, which is something I'm going to kind of show you there. Now, the first thing I always do before I ever get started when you're doing R, suppose you've already installed it, got it up and working. The first thing that I always do is I set my working directory. So one of the things is that my working directory is basically the location that R will always start loading information from. Now, what I'm doing is, for this example, I'm going to be pointing it towards this temp data storage area, and I'll show you why in a minute. Now, this program that I'm going to be running, I will be giving to you. It's a part of this zip file that's in my Dropbox called Loading Data Tutorial. You know, loading data in R is not that hard. Oh, I forgot to delete my data sets from my models. Let me delete that. Pretend like you didn't see those. So basically what we're doing is we're basically going to be running a couple of R pieces of code that is some ETL. This zip file contains the source files. These are random source files. Some are CSV, some are text, some are metadata, some are supposedly web files. And we're going to be merging those together, shuffling through them, cleaning out what we don't want, and then outputting them and being able to run a couple of models on that. What I've done is I've actually exploded this out, and I've put it into this directory here. Whoops, and there it is again. So you'll see that here's my source files I'll be using with R. Even in this directory, I have some SAS data sets, which I do not have SAS installed on my machine, so we'll not be doing that. But I also have SAS transport files, which you can use to be able to convert things over. So that's my data sets and my data that I'm going to be using. Now, what you can see is I just changed my working directory. As you can see, it's changed my directory. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is, and I'm going to bring up my, let me bring up another. You'll notice that I just did an open source. So I have this loading data R file here. I'll be sharing this with everyone. It basically walks you through loading some CSV files, does some structure work, then basically does a quick summary, then does some subsetting, then basically does some edits to bring some stuff in, and then merges the data together. And the output of this is it saves these tables as the CSV files that I can then bring into Qlik Sense or ClickView to be able to do some work with them, which we'll be doing that. There's also another command. Let me bring that up too. And basically what this is this command, we go into the console, and notice everything I'm going to be doing is going to be from the console itself. So for example, I can set my working directory in this way as well. So I'm going to be going data, temp data. Oops, I forgot to put my quotation marks. I'm going to be doing this. Okay, so I just did the exact same thing I did up here. So my location has been set. Now, one of the things that I want to do is I want to install a package. When you install these packages that are here, basically what you're going to see is this listing of packages. Let's say you just find a package, statistical package you want to run. What I wanted to be able to do is I want to install that package. Now, to install a package, you actually have to just run this command, install packages, and you have to put the package name here, and then be able to install the package. Now, the package that I want us to install, which is already installed, is called foreign. Foreign is a package that basically, and I think I have a website, the PDF that I'm giving you allows you to convert data sets and use SAS data sets and that kind of thing. So if I go install packages, so what it's basically doing is it's going to look and see, it's going to prompt me to find out, okay, where do you install this package from? So you see I've got foreign here. So what I want to do is, because I'm in Tokyo, Japan, I am going to load it from the Tokyo mirror. Notice what it's going to do is going to prompt me. It's going to pop up a little install box, I guess, if you will, as it brings in the package. See that it brought it from a URL. Now what I have is I have that package called foreign that I can start using. Now, how do I know I can use it? If I can go library, foreign, and then I can do what is it? one of the things I used to do, I was trying to keep notes just to make sure, is I can do a, and actually say I want to do a read SSD. Now, what this means is in this package, this is documentation. It shows me how I can read a SAS data set, a SAS permanent data set. Gives you the details for it, how it works, how we would run the code, you know, list them files, that kind of thing. So I can tell that my package is running, and I can tell that it's bringing that in. I can also read SPSS files. So if you're doing statistical packages within SPSS, you can bring it into R, convert it into, you know, run your models, or if your models have already been written, then you can actually export it out as a Excel spreadsheet, text file, CSV file, that kind of thing as well. So one of the things that I wanted to do for this one specifically is I wanted to be able to, you'll notice that I have some code here. Using the foreign package that I brought in, it actually, here's some basic code that I'm going to be sharing with you to be able to convert some SAS data sets that you can load in. Now, we're not going to do, I don't want to do this yet. I want to start creating some data that we can use within Qlik Sense. So what I'm going to do right now is I've just loaded this program called loadingdata.r. Now, I've already kind of walked through it before. It's just basically bringing data, and we're doing some merges, but this can do anything. You can actually output any type of table from this. But what I want to do is I want to run this program. So to run this program, I'm going to do a run all in this thing. I think I need to change my, there we go. Let's see if I've created my data sets. Hold on. Here comes tables. Let's do it one more time. So let's change my directory. Change it to C temp data. Yep, that's good. And then what I'll do is I'm going to check my code. Seems that it's having little problems. Oh, I got it. So let me do it one more time. I'm going to change my directory. Sorry. Just call it temp. Sorry. So what I just did was oops. You notice I'm scrolling up now through all the commands that I've been doing because I just wanted to, I don't want to have to type everything in. So basically what I did was I made a mistake here, and what I did is I put it in data, so this file, this kind of this program that I'm running here would fail. I did it, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this console, clear window, and I'm going to run this run this one more time. Okay, great. So now I didn't get that error that I got before. The reason being is that I did not set my work directory, so it couldn't find the source files and couldn't do the merge. What you'll find is when it outputs these data sets, you can see the data sets are actually sitting in this location here. So there's my income, 13, and my income totals is there. Not very big, but they're there. Now, what I wanted to do right now is I basically wanted to use these files. These are an output. I could have called them CSV, text, whatever, from my analytical, running R on them. And what I wanted to do is I just want to bring them into Qlik Sense, which is not too hard. So I'm actually going to cancel this out, get rid of my R app that I already have, which is right here. There we go. Delete it. So I'm going to create a new app, call this new R app. They open app. Now I could do a couple of things too. I have some documentation I'll be sharing with you. You could actually do a data load editor, and you can actually connect to an ODBC driver and be able to connect to SAS data sets. But I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in. And go back to my R app. Is it there? Did it save it? Nope. Okay. So I'm going to say new R app. There it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag data that I just created from R into it. And what you can see is, am I doing anything special here? No. I've just I've let R do its thing, whatever that thing is, because I don't want to do a lot of statistical code in around that. And basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing this data sets in. These are my variables. I can call them whatever I want. And I'm going to load my data. I'm going to edit my sheet. Then here's what I've always done. Whatever you've done from a predictive perspective, whether it's SAS or R or SPSS, sometimes I just want to see a trend, or I want to be able to visualize a pattern in the data that I'm trying to find. So I'm just going to drag a bar chart over, look through this. I want to see, let's look at, you know what? I don't want to use this data set. This is my other data set. I don't want to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into data loader. Oops, let me save it. Go back into my data loader. You'll notice it has a data folder here. My data folder is in temp data. Cool. So it's already created a library for me. Now I'm going to go and add the new data source, which is income totals. Now what you can see is it's actually created this new table here that has more descriptive names that I can use and basically add to this. I'm going to take this, create what I'm going to call it income totals CSV file, and load it like this. Now, what I'm going to do now is once I've done this, I'm actually going to get rid of this little thing and do a load data. Let me save it. So I'm just bringing in my data. Go back into my app. And just call this totals. Go in, do an edit. So now that I've gone into my totals, now what I want to do is I want to look at, let's see, households by medium income summed. That's not really descriptive, so let's change that again. So let's look at the dimensions here. Let's get rid of this dimension here. Let's do output. Let's look at the do name by household income. Next. Let's see. Okay. So basically what I'm looking at is this is totals. This is medium household income. And let me just do an edit real quick. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking at the data. Now, if I wanted to be able to, if I do an edit, what I want to do is I want to compare 2008 data to let's do name to 2000, and let's say 13. Now, two different graphs, two different visualizations. But however, if I select, let's say, let's look at Virginia, you can see what Virginia is for the medium household income. Oh, let me do this. Sorry, made a mistake here. Just want to do a quick edit. I've maybe created a forecast. I've done, so basically what I can do now with two different data sets, I brought in two different kinds. One is specific for 2013, one is specific for 2008. Then I brought in the city information. Qlik has already associated both of those. So now I actually can do a forecast on different things linked together by different cities. Now, this is just showing an association that's happening between two different data sources. So, for example, if I want to be able to see what is others are California. So if I just want to look at California and be able to see, let me go back. So if I want to see Minneapolis, and let's do this too. Let's show, and then let's do a bar chart here and show name. And we'll show 2013. Some heck, you know what I'm going to do? Screw that. I'm just going to drag it over. Yeah. So what I'm showing right now is I'm showing different medium. So if I look at this, if I want to be able to look at, say, what is New Mexico in 2008? And what is New Mexico in 2013? Hopefully this is the same, not the same data. Just want to make sure, like I'm on. Great. Cool. If I want to be able to look at that. Right. So basically what I'm just showing here is very easily how you can just kind of run an R model. I created my data using a basic statistical package, created some analytical base tables, outputted them as CSV or text files. You can even output them if you're running SAS as a XPT file or analytical base tables, have R convert it back, then drag and drop it into Qlik Sense or ClickView for viewing. So I want to just stop for a second just to show you a basic example and take some some questions. Any questions? Is there any questions you guys wanted to ask real quick or wanted me to go a little deeper on something? I just showed kind of a very bare bones integration. And I know that Wings, I think Wings, you're, I'm saying Wings because it's Wings saying luck. I'm trying to figure out, do I call you Wing or Sand or Luck or Wings? I'm going to call you Wings. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything that you wanted to put into the in the chat?
I had one concerning whether you could actually post an app directly online.
Oh.
With the name of both companies.
Okay.
Or should we send it to you first?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So the question, and I won't say it out loud, but you want to post an app online with Qlik and KPMG. even though it's got data from a certain company, right? So what's going to happen? What's going to happen with this is, when you submit your apps. Let me make sure. Am I muted? No. When you submit your apps, we are going to cleanse a little bit of the data. So we'll make sure that the data is the names are changed to protect the innocent, if you will. But we'll know who that company is. So yes, we are with the winners of the competition. Their app will be put on an external website for the whole world to see, but no one will know who that company is, unless it basically, there's no way you can hide who that company is. And then what we'd do is we'd probably water it down or just say you won without revealing the app. But tomorrow I'm gonna show you how to, on your own, create your own app and push it to a website. So you don't need, you can put it on any website. So if you want to be an Edward Snowden, not that I'm condoning his activities or your activities, you could put it on a website and bring a company down. Just kidding, don't do that, because we'll all get fired. But anyway, so to answer your question, we'll clean it up. Said all that to say that. Yeah. But any other things? I mean, I know, Sarah, I know you're pretty big on the R stuff. I think Wing is as well. I mean, what are you doing with R? That maybe, are you just running statistical models, doing outputs? What are you doing with it? That maybe I can.
The thing is that I still wanted to post online an app for consumers. So in the credit risk modeling, we could actually, as you mentioned previously, you gave me a lot of inspiration. So consumers can actually check their own score and have recommendation how to improve it. And then on the background, we could create an app for insurance companies themselves, where they could actually perform any kind of operations they want with the outputs of predictability models.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let me show you. I'll show you something I built that might give you a little inspiration for what you're doing there, because I agree. So what you're basically doing is you're creating self-service predictive models around risk for internal company use. Is that correct? Right?
Well, internal, indeed, and as well, if we can give advice for everyone else, that would be great too.
Oh, right, yeah. So a user can fix themselves, kind of thing, right? Okay, so let me show you something I built that might be of interest to you. So this is something that I built, and I think I'm still sharing my. I'm just showing it in a generic sense. This is a predictive analytical models using R in the back end. Whoops. And I'm just going to go into, and I'll show you how I did this, customer value analysis. And what this is this application, basically, we ran market basket analysis on basically what customers are going to purchase. Then we ran a couple of models that basically rank customers in different kind of percentiles. We clustered by customer ranking. This is a ClickView application and what we did was we ran it against all of our customer databases. Everyone that was an existing customer, we ranked them. And what we could do is, we with the data sets we brought in, we can rank based on insurance product, traditional life. And if you'll see, let me get rid of these screens, hold on. You can see the top 10 customers for traditional life. And here's what we also did is, we also created it so we run the models. Not only could we, and all we did was we ran it every different outcome. We had dozens of output tables, brought them into Qlik, and then we associated in different ways, showing our top customers, what insurance product lines they do, let Qlik do what is that. We even can create a mailing list based on that customer. So we basically were able not only to show which customers But we're not doing what you're doing from a risk modeling perspective, but we are showing how they can reach out to those customers to sell to them that are the best customers that they want to, sell to. Here's the assumptive information that the assumptive information that we brought was retention, renewals, those kind of things. Just to kind of, the other thing is we looked at the outliers, the ones that don't fit this pattern as well. So something for you to maybe consider is when you're creating your application, I know this is a ClickView application, but notice what we're doing is we're doing kind of allow the customer, as you're doing your models, allow them to rank themselves based on risk, like a 1 to 10. And then basically list not just a 1 to 10, but listing what 1 means, 10 means. Give them some input so they can select, unselect. What if I don't buy a house and I rent? I'm making an example. What if I don't have a car, I commute? Those kind of things. Would that up my risk from getting a loan or getting an insurance policy? If I start working out, giving them these scenarios and running the models to be able to create these output tables allows the customer to be able to be coached, if you will. Here's another one I think you might like as well. I'm going to go back to another one I built. It kind of shows this from a personal point of view. Also using R. I know sometimes this thing doesn't work, but what we do is we basically are, not that it doesn't work, what we're doing here is basically we allow someone to rank themselves. This product is basically running a couple of R models, one R model that basically predicts if you're going to quit as an employee. And you can tell the inputs. We have age, number of children, years of the insurance agent, agent salary, commission. So here's an application that I technically could create a website for to be able to predict, if I'm trying to hire new insurance agents or financial advisors, they can fill out this information to see if insurance, not just because they want to do it, but based on history, is it the right job for you? And what we find is it has nothing to do with salary, actually. Has nothing to do with salary. That's one of the things I was going to do. Let me do a clear selections. What you're able to do is you're able to change basically compensation. You're able to see the number of children. You can see that, it's from single to married. I think my browser is not supporting this anymore. We can put the correlations. And what we can do is we can predict, and most of it's based on totally relationship inputs, age, number of children, not even the salary has a big effect, but it's really number of children and age and single and married was the biggest ones. And we can also run the same model and predict which of those agents fit into that segment, the ones that are, so you can tell that he's happy, he's not going to leave. Then there's an alert list. We actually have one where we can actually change I don't think it'll work here on my browser, but what you can do is you can change the threshold. These 60% are basically 60% are going to leave the organization, and you can see how many of them are married, how many are male and female, what nationality they are. You can see what their salaries are. You can see their salaries are right there in that 20 to 40K. So if I want to keep these employees, first thing I think of is giving them a bump and raise. So it gives you some capabilities so you can actually kind of pick and choose and allow it to have inputs. And this is all running our models within a kind of a Qlik application. So this is both from a human resources could use this, or basically an agent could use this, or a potential agent could use it. So it's just an example that maybe you can kind of consider as you're building out your ones for predicting, what you're doing there. And tomorrow, when we talk about, which I'm not going to show you here, how you can build your websites using your Qlik Sense applications you build, that's some things you can think about there. Okay, I'm opening up. Does anybody have any more questions? Or what I'll do is, I think that's about it. You can always send me an email. Even though I'm in Japan, I can always answer it for you. And you guys, if you want me to do a session just one-on-one with you as well, I'm back in Hong Kong on the 20th. So, I can always address that. But I know that you have to submit your apps by the 13th. But if you have any questions between now and then, I can help you over the weekend or something like that. Any other questions or any other things I can help with or talk about or? Okay. Okay, good. Hey, thanks you guys. I know, I know that you guys should be hanging out, having coffee. I mean, heck, you're single, you're in college, and now you're working on statistical models. So I really appreciate your time being on this. And for all those people that are watching after the fact, I also appreciate you taking time out to get to the very end of this presentation. If anyone has any questions about what we've talked about, what we're doing, feel free to send me an email. I can kind of walk you through some of the basic R steps if you need to do some basic R and SAS and that kind of thing. But for the most part, I think we're finished. I'd like to thank my two participants that were live online. I'd like to thank all those that are watching later on. And what we'll do is tomorrow, same time, same channel, we'll be showing you how to build a website using Qlik Sense. First of all, we show you how to build one locally. And then if later on you want to put it to the cloud and you want to share it in the cloud and be able to use your cloud version on a website, we can do that as well. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow. So I want to thank everybody for being on this. And this is Gary Jackson from Tokyo signing off. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks, you guys.